Lesson 5 is dividing polynomials. We actually had talked about this before because ironically enough it was in, there was long division and dividing polynomials in chapter 10. So we did talk about this. There are two types of division. The first type is really easy. The answers don't look easy, but doing the problem is easy. When we divide a polynomial, one or more terms by a monomial. That means one term. Notice in all three of these examples, we are dividing by a singular term. When we do that, we don't have to do the long division. All you have to do is take each term and divide it by that monomial. So here, I'm going to divide 8x squared by 4x, and I'm going to divide 2 by 4x. So the first one's really easy. 8 divided by 4 is 2, x squared and divided by x is x. But this second term gets a little bit ugly. We actually end up with, if I reduce it, a 1 in the numerator, so we get 1 over 2x. So you will have rational terms, like where you have a fraction as a term. And it's not pretty, but it is how you do that. So take a look at this second one, 14a squared divided by 7a, 7a divided by 7a, 21 divided by 7a. So the first two are very cut and dry, so that is 2a. This one is minus 1, and interesting enough there, this one, the 7 reduces the 21 to 3, so we get 3 over a. Now that isn't how we like to see our terms, but that is how we're going to leave them. This last example up here, divided by 2t squared, divided by 2t squared, divided by 2t squared. So we get 2t to the third minus, I'm just going to leave it 5 over 2, and then minus 6 over t squared. And that's how I'm going to leave it right there. Okay, so that is when we are taking a polynomial and dividing it by a monomial, one term. When we start dividing by binomials, we cannot just divide each term by that because, well, it doesn't work. So we do this with long division. We have to write it out. So if you remember, we're going to put the divisor right here, and we got 2r squared minus 5r plus 3, and I'm going to divide that by r minus 1. Okay, so we look at this first term. What is it I'd have to multiply r by so that it is 2r squared? And the answer there would be 2r. So I'm going to take 2r, place it up here, and then I'm going to take 2r times r, which is 2r squared, and then I have to take 2r times minus 1, which is minus 2r. We then subtract them, so that means we are going to change the signs and combine. Now this one should completely cancel out. That was the purpose of picking 2r. Over here, though, we're going to get negative 3r, and then we're going to bring down the plus 3. So now, what do we have to multiply this r by to get to negative 3r? And it is negative 3. So we get negative 3r, and we get plus 3. We change the signs when we subtract, and we actually don't have a remainder. It works out perfectly. So this binomial is 2r minus 3. And those are pretty, but let's face it, that doesn't happen very often. Okay, so take a look at this example. This one's not going to come out perfect. We will have a remainder. So 6x squared plus 5x minus 3, and we are dividing that by 3x plus 1. So I have to get 3x times 2x to get 6x squared. So 6x squared, and then 2x times 1 is 2x. Change the signs, 3x, bring down the minus 3, and I'm going to just take it times 1. So 1 times 3x is 3x, 1 times 1 is 1, change the signs, and I get negative 4 as my remainder. So what we do with our remainder, just like if we were dividing a number, a single number, and we'd have leftovers, say we take 7 divided by 5. Well, it goes in there once, which is 5, and we have a remainder of 2. And how do we write that? We write that as 1 and 2/5. So we take our remainder and we place it over our divisor. So we have negative, so minus 4 over 3x plus 1. And as ugly as that seems, that is how we write our quotient. Let's try that again in the one in the box. So we have y squared plus 4y plus 12, and we're dividing by y plus 3. So we got a blue one in there, huh? There we go. Thank you. No, all those.
No, this I just ran your copy off. Yours is in here.
Oh, but this is mine.
I know, I ran a copy.
Oh, never mind. Okay, sorry. All right, so we're going to take this one times y, so we get y squared. Then we get 3y. Subtract, so change the signs, and we have a y left over. Bring down a 12. And then we're just going to take it times 1. So plus 3. Change the signs. We have a 9 as our remainder, so we're going to take our remainder and place it over our divisor. So it's a positive, so it's plus 9 over y plus 3. And there is our answer. Now, if you choose to write it separately, so that's not over top, you can. But that is the gist of it. We're going to show you a word problem here. So take a look at this one. It says divide polynomials to solve a problem. In geometry, if we have a rectangle, that is 8x plus 120. And the width is, the area is 8x plus 120. The width is x plus 10. Find 8x plus 120 divided by x minus 10 to determine the length. They actually gave you the word problem there. You're lucky. I probably wouldn't have. I would have just said, what's the length? And you'd have had to figure out that this would have been your job. Okay, so we've got 8x plus 120, and we're dividing by x minus 10. So we're just simply taking it by 8. So we got 8x minus 80, and change the sign, 200. And we have plus 200 over x minus 10. Not the way we like to see, that would be units. Not the way we typically like to see an answer, especially when we're dealing with a length, but it is what it is. Okay, one last thing. What if when we divide with our long division, with our binomial, take a look in here, b cubed minus 6b squared plus 32. We are missing the b term. So when we are missing a term, 3, 2, 1, 0, we have to replace it in our division with a 0 coefficient. What that means is we have b squared minus b cubed minus 6b squared. We don't have a b term, so I'm going to put in 0b and then plus 32. And I'm dividing by b minus 4. So I get b squared, which would be b cubed minus 4b squared. Change the signs. So we get negative 2b squared plus 0b. And then we have to take it times negative b, or negative 2b, excuse me. So negative 2b squared plus 8b. Change the signs. And here's why we have to put that in there. It's basically holding a place. Because if I put 32 down here, I cannot subtract 8b from 32. They're not like terms. So we just place that 0b in there to essentially hold the place for the b term that you will get when you start multiplying each term by that. So then you bring down your 32. And let's see, it's going to be negative 8b, or sorry, negative 8. Goodness, I'm struggling today. Negative 8, so we got negative 8b and a positive 32, which is nice because when we change the sign, we will not have a remainder. And our answer is b squared minus 2b minus 8. So if you have a polynomial with a missing term, like maybe you're missing your b squared, or maybe you're missing a b, just place it in there with a 0 coefficient and do long division as normal. All right, that was quick. Hopefully you don't have a whole lot of questions. If you do, come see me. But I'm hoping this lesson goes well for you. All right, good luck. See you later.